Hey everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we get into today's Don't Flop Scotland recap, I just want to say please follow the show at Battle Rap Resume. Please get in touch with me, battleresume@gmail.com. And if you want to help support the show, if you want some bonus episodes, some behind the scenes stuff, you want to listen to Battle Rap Resume episodes weeks and weeks before they drop officially on the channel, go to patreon.com/Battle Rap Resume, give us a donation and you get lots and lots of goodies in return. But John, it's great to have you on, man, because we initially did the preview of this event, Don't Flop Scotland, and as we were going through the card, it was just sounded so brilliant. I was so looking forward to it. It's so cool that Don't Flop was going back to Edinburgh, and by all the viewpoint Twitter accounts, it was a pretty crazy event.
Yeah, it was really good, man. It was a really good vibe. I think I didn't go to the Don't Flop Glasgow event a few years ago. I think I was abroad, but I remember a lot of people said they were quite disappointed by that, and it wasn't really all it cracked up to be. Right. So I think there was a lot of kind of hunger in the room for it to be good and to make it good, and for the atmosphere to really fit a Don't Flop event. And yeah, everyone was just really hyped. There was so many chants and all the rest of it. It was good crack.
And you were there doing some BBC stuff, is that right?
Yeah. As I say, I'm sorry if I forget some specific bars, just because I was trying to squeeze in some shots on the camera. I wasn't doing too much, so I got some notes down and things, but there's a few that sort of might have slipped my memory, but yeah.
And what was that you were doing for the BBC?
Oh, basically I'm doing a wee sort of short sort of doc on basically the battle scene in Scotland, and I might be shooting another event. I'm not too sure yet. I might have enough from the Don't Flop one, but we'll have a look. But it was a good sort of representation, because it was in the pit format, the battles as well. It wasn't up on the stage, so which really, really worked well for the battles, and it gave it a real sort of intensity, which kind of fit what I'm trying to show quite well.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, talk me through it. You get to the event, round about what time are you arriving? Is there a crowd already there, sort of thing, or? Yeah.
So I mean, they said 2, but you know these things. They say sure. 2 o'clock for a Don't Flop event. It's like 3, half 3. Oh, so yeah. I was phoning up people and they were saying, yeah, you're probably safe. Do you know what I mean? It'll be quite a while. But when I arrived at about sort of half 2, the place, there was quite a few people there, you know. And it's a strange thing when you go to a Scottish hip hop event as well, is that one thing that I suppose you like it to some extent, but also it's a bit annoying when you go in and you know everybody there and you recognise all the MCs, and it's just coming out to see other MCs, and you know you don't get the feeling there's that much of a scene. It's just sort of people supporting each other. Whereas at the Don't Flop events, I didn't recognise anybody. You know, I went in, there's so many people. You know, with the merchandise and all the rest of it, you know, they always bring out a crowd. And I say it was a wise move coming up, because there was definitely a hunger for a Don't Flop event, definitely.
And the venue itself, I'm not really familiar with the place. I mean, did you feel it worked well?
Yeah, Bongo Club. I'd never been to it before, actually. I'm through in Glasgow, so Edinburgh's. It was funny actually, because on the Google Maps, I think a few of the staff did this as well, is they obviously typed Bongo Club in and ended up on the wrong side of the city because the venue's moved. Oh. So especially folk from Glasgow coming through, a lot of the MCs, I just kept bumping into people on the other side of the city going, where is this place? But it's, you have to Google it properly to go find it. It's a really neat venue. I don't know I think it's a club as well, and they have gigs and things. But because it was like one of those, those sort of venues Don't Flop have, which are really good for pit battles, where you've got the kind of the pillars in the middle. The crowd's also, it's quite a low ceiling. The crowd's all around the MCs, and the sound's a good quality as well. So it's just because it's quite a wide room, but it's. I think the only complaint really about the sound was I think some people at the back couldn't necessarily hear. But apart from that, it was pretty cool.
Right, yeah, and we kick off then with Scott Eary versus Q Riot. How was this?
This was a crazy battle to start the day, actually. Yeah. I think it was definitely the best I've seen Q Riot. And he's not battled in quite a while. And Scott Eary was, I think he was a lot more comfortable probably in front of a Scottish audience than he was in his tryout down south. Yeah. There was some cheesy stuff. I mean, there was, I think, there was one bit, Scott Eary brought out a carrot as a prop. like it was something to do with a veg. Like I can't remember what the punch was. Like what's up, Doc, or something.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
And then Q Riot flipped and said, that's the only veg you've had all year, or something like that. It was nice we flip. But yeah, they both really delivered their stuff well, and the reactions were really, the crowd were really up for that battle, and there's a couple. I think Scott Early in particular had a couple of bars that were a little bit played out, shall we say, but he says them with such conviction, that you kind of just go along with it. But yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I just before this recording, I was going through Twitter and the various Facebook groups and stuff, and the consensus seemed to be that Q Riot would go over well in England.
Yeah, has he battled in England? I don't even know, actually.
I'm not sure. I think he might have had a Raise the Bar battle. That might have been someone else, but I think one of them, I think one of these kind of not lower tier, but you know what I mean, lower on the card sort of guys had one of those sort of things. But I mean, both of them, glad to hear they both had good showings though.
Yeah, definitely, man. I as I say, like Scott Early, I think he's his style. I said this in the preview because of his accent and sort of what he represents in the way he spits. He translates well up here, but I think I'll be interested to see what they say on the comments for that battle on YouTube, because some of the references perhaps could go over heads. I think Q Riot's just that little bit better at kind of tailoring his stuff to a YouTube audience. Right. Like they both had really good punchlines actually. Best I've seen from them, but yeah, Q in particular, he really sort of he understood the crowd, he managed them well, but he also understood that he didn't want to just say a bunch of Scottish stuff, because no one wants to just hear all that on YouTube, like down south later on, because they'll just be like, what does that mean? Why are they all going crazy? Weird Scottish people. But yeah.
Then we get into Maker versus JR.
Sorry, Makar.
Makar, my bad.
Or Maka. I should really know that. And yeah, this is a tough one to talk about, because I'm really, really close with both these guys.
Right.
I think after the first battle, because I'll try and be as unbiased as I can as well about this, and just be really, really honest about it. Because after the first battle, I think because there was such an energy to it. They were coming in with this sort of more wordplay based stuff, especially JR. That's just his style, and it's a bit more dense. And I think people have to pay a bit more attention. But they were both, they both had really clean performances, no chokes, anything like that. But I think Leo in particular is the best performance I've seen from him in terms of. It was funny because I think that this just sums up. Sorry, Leo being Makar. Sorry.
Yeah.
This just sums up why I really just love his personality and stuff in battles. I think there was a bit in the first round where he was spitting some good stuff, and some stuff was hitting, some stuff wasn't, and there was one kind of awkward pause, and he just sort of. He got a bit awkward for a moment, and he just goes, "Yeah, boy," and just the whole room just reacted, because it was just hilarious. And Bagnall's face, I don't really know, he didn't know what to make of it, but like he just kind of played it off. That's just what Leo Makar's like. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't really sort of. I don't think many MCs would have got away with that, because it was a bit cringy, but you had to love him for it, because he just sort of does it sort of so confidently and naively kind of thing, and. JR, so I think Leo probably took the first round. JR definitely got the third, I would say, because he did this grime scheme that went on for like a whole round. I was chatting to him later. I think he'd be interested in this grime league they've got going on down south. Actually,
yeah, 140, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't. It's obviously not as big a thing up here, grime, and I had no idea he could do it. I think I get the impression that he didn't really have a third round, so he just spat a grime verse that he'd done. But because it was quite surprising to hear, because it just went on, and it was really on point. Like people started. It was a bit corny actually. People started like stamping their feet.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Which I'm a bit whatever. Yeah. And also I don't know how that translates on camera when they're putting the sound back, but you could hear that he was really like on rhythm. His flow was really, 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 really good. I think he was just showing that he wasn't just a writer, that he could actually spit. So I don't know. I think maybe JR might have edged it 2-1. The second round was quite close, but yeah, they kind of, it went in and out. They had some really, the odd really good bar, and then there's a few that just people just weren't really vibing with.
Yeah, but I mean, nonetheless, it still sounds like they showed out. They put on. I'm excited to see that one. I do remember Maka actually having some revival battle that was quite good. I can't remember who he faced, but I remember he had this barista scheme against his opponent that was actually quite funny. And like that sort of boy, I can sort of picture him doing that now that you mention it. But
yeah.
we push on to another really really cool battle on the card. Awesome to see Seuss coming off the Headhunters victory, going against Jay Dillon.
Yeah, man. So Jay Dillon was pretty much. I'm not sure how much I can really say about it because it's exactly. I don't want to give away loads of
no.
Because he did what he always does, and it's always amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's one of my favourite battlers for that. Just and a really really nice guy as well. Like he was chatting to everybody. But yeah, Seuss. I think he proved of this battle that he deserves a slot on the league, if that makes sense. He deserves battles, and he deserves to be considered. He was really, I think he was strong all 3 rounds. I mean, not every punch hit, but like he's just got that natural sort of performance. Like he's as if he's always done it. Yeah, I think he does acting actually. I think that's his actual day job. So he's a real performer as well. And you could see he's one of these battlers. Before he's starting a battle, he's pacing about and he's looking all sort of like geared up to really take him on, which is a bit weird because it was Jay Dillon who didn't really care about any of that. But yeah, he was. He also called a few people out, Seuss.
Oh right, who?
So he had something about shocks, which is a little bit above his station, but I can't remember exactly what he said, to be fair.
Yeah.
And he also called out JB.
Nice. That'd be a good battle.
Yeah, I saw something on Viewpoint. Not that I checked Viewpoint very much. I don't know if he's replied since, but he said JB just said nah, he just wasn't on it, kind of thing. Right. But I think if he watches the battle, like it would be a good. Like I think Seuss is just. He's got a similar sort of writing style to JB, but I think he's actually probably a better performer. He's just that little bit more. He's got a bit more aggression to him, and he gets opponents' faces a wee bit. Yeah, I think that'd be a good battle.
I'm hearing as well. Seuss did what I guess a lot of people do against Jay Dillon, an impression of Jay Dillon.
Yeah, he did actually. He did the sort of shutting his eyes, sort of. He had one that was really funny that I'm so sorry I can't remember it at all. Man. But like he stretched that out a little bit. I did think he had like he did 4 or 5 sort of Jay Dillon's specific that's blah 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 like comparative wordplay. He did a bit of that and it went down well. But then he sort of I don't think it was really necessary, to be honest. I think he really did. I think Jay Dillon didn't do, as he's probably even less than he normally does. Actually, he didn't really break down Seuss particularly, other to say that he looks really young and malnourished and all that sort of stuff. Whereas Seuss really went in on his style and said, you're a poor man's calcium kid, you're this, that, and the other. So I mean that'll be a good one to watch back because it was a real clash. Maybe that's why they chose it, but I'm not entirely sure you could call a winner on it because it was like chalk and cheese,
Yeah, they're gonna be really good, and good to see Seuss getting those opportunities and Jay Dillon extending that hand, and I'm really excited to see them in front of this crowd as well because I'm just hearing great things, and I know these two guys are gonna lap up that sort of atmosphere. I imagine they did. And another two, Evil versus O'Shea. The first thing I heard about this battle was saucy jizz.
Yes. This was, oh my god.
Evil.
Oh, dude, man, this battle. There's this battle's probably the most ingrained in my memory. Even though I was actually at the back, I didn't film except sort of wide shots for this battle. And so I really caught a lot of the bars, but like, yeah, I think I've never ever witnessed a battle where a guy is in his hometown and he goes down that badly.
Aye.
Like, like seriously, not to say it was crickets or anything, but like hostile reaction, like legit sort of people really not happy. And basically, so Evil, first of all, he spat for a long time. You know, he rapped longer than O'Shea did by quite a bit, which may not surprise you. No. But he had the first real issue I noticed is he repeated a bar. I think he said he went through a whole scheme twice. I'm pretty sure, and people were sort of murmuring like, "Oh, why is he doing that?" And the next bit was he admitted. I think on the last podcast I sort of we were speculating about seeing money from promoters, and I didn't want to badmouth and blah. Well, I didn't really need to speculate because he came out and he said, "Yes, I stole money from promoters." It just shows I'm, you know, he had a whole thing about, you know, because O'Shea's a Scouser and he robs people and all the rest of it, and he was basically saying, well, you know, like I did it quite. I'm open about it, at least I'm honest about it, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But as soon as he did that, you know, there was a lot of sort of Glasgow heads in particular who there was one guy I actually heard, you know, he said, "You bumped me off." Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get you, blah, blah, blah. And like, that really didn't go down well. Like, you know, people were saying, well, you know, you're a twat, but like you're stealing money off people and promoters. And like, there's all these, you know, local MCs and promoters in the room that just really reacted negatively to that. And, I think in particular that really rubbed people up the wrong way.
I was hearing from one of my guys who was there, a friend of the show, that, you know, crowd doing O'Shea chant. Apparently there was an Evil owes me money chant.
Was there? I didn't hear that.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, O'Shea got it's the biggest O'Shea chant. I mean, maybe I've not. There was a big one that was in a room that I just because I've heard it on YouTube. But in the room, it was massive, and it went on, and it was variations, and it wasn't just when he was battling. It was O'Shea got so much love, which is funny because one of his first bars he came in, he did the whole sort of, you know, you're all bellends in Scotland. He said except Glasgow, which is hilarious because he got loads of. Cheers, actually. There was a lot of Glasgow people that had come through. But Evil, so O'Shea's stuff was pretty good, I'd say. He was funny. He had all the sort of stuff about, you know, crack addicts in Edinburgh and all the rest of it. Evil, the thing is that Evil had some nice bars, I would say, but it was kind of lost in how much material he had, and in amongst that material, you know, I think he just really needed an editor because there was just a few real, you know, a few people were groaning at the back of some of the stuff. Like he had rhymes about child abuse, which was just like wasn't good. Yeah, he basically had this sausages, like it was something to do with sausages, sausages. And
Jay Dillon, you know, is that you?
Honestly, I was in the toilet and people were like saying sausages, just going on about it. He had another one. It was what was it? It was something. He had a retired line, you know, like going around a racetrack, blah blah blah. You know that? Which was exercise your mind like jogging your memory.
Sure.
The worst one, I think, worse than the sausages one, was he had something about going to Fife. Rowing in Fife. It was the worst stretch imaginable.
Yeah, Matter said that against Soul in 2011, so it's just like,
Did he actually?
Yeah.
He also repeated a bar JR said. It was something like, your bars are jokes like penguin bars, you know, like chocolate or whatever it was.
Bruce C said that against Cystic as well.
Yeah. I was like, that's definitely been said before. I mean, I think JR, the way he said it, I was like, it seemed quite innocent kind of thing. And then Evil, I don't know if he the way he said it, the phrasing of it, just I don't know if he freestyled it because he tends to go in and out quite a lot. Sure. But it was just a really weird battle, man. It was just such a weird vibe to it, and like, I think I generally really like Evil's stuff, and especially as a freestyler, and sort of the way he sticks his rhymes together as well, and sort of structures things is usually pretty dope. But and he did actually, I mean, towards the end, he had this sort of really well structured sort of scheme about how the reason Don't Flop Scotland had come like he had like one rhyme that he repeated for about half a round about, it happened because of him, sort of thing. They got a bit of reaction, which was really well put together. I think it was, I don't know how true it was, because you could see Eary at the back was just not very happy. He came out and he was just like, evil, they're the CEO of the league, and he was
right.
I mean, like trying to claim credit for stuff, especially because I know there's a lot of people, I personally know the people behind the scenes that have been putting stuff together and stuff, and I don't think it was all him by any means. But I don't know. It was a weird battle, and I think it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is on YouTube, because I really, based on the sort of some of the hate Evil gets already, I don't think it will go down that well. He won't go down that well amongst just YouTube commenters and all the rest of it. But when he's on. So I mean, I hope he bounces back from it. But it wasn't his best. He was really provocative and just had to go at a lot of people. And I think even O'Shea, I mean, this sums up the difference. O'Shea said something like, I'll stab you, and the Scottish guy in the crowd just obviously said, I'll stab you back, and it was just a big laugh. Do you know what I mean? No one really, he can get away with saying that, and no one cares. Whereas Evil would say anything, the slightest thing, and everyone was reacting really badly. Sure. I think it was, even though O'Shea was, the one who's from out of town, I think he was treated as if he was the homecoming hero, and Evil didn't go down well at all. So it was really weird. But yeah. Okay,
yeah. I'm looking forward to watching that one back. Always good to see O'Shea in new territories, expanding. But Tony D versus Respect BA, I can't wait to see this one back, John.
Yeah, dude, this was the best battle I've seen live, probably.
Yeah, Bagnall tweeted about it. I think he said the best battle he's ever recorded. So it's just like, he's saying that, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think Respect BA won. I think he won 2-1. Okay. I thought he was absolutely immense. Like, he went far beyond what I thought he would. There's just such an authority to the way, I've never seen this with a Tony B. I mean, Tony D is amazing to watch live, and I was blown away by him, just how smooth he is, and the way he controls the crowd is fantastic. But I mean, it won't surprise you to hear that he was great, but like, because he always is. But they're saying, if I spit 3 rounds, I don't lose. Yeah. Well, he spat 3 good rounds, and I think he lost.
Oh wow.
Respect BA was he has this authority to the way he raps, that's just this cadence, and just this, he used this sort of, I don't know, maybe it's stupid to say his height or whatever, but like, he really talked down to Tony and really sort of belittled him in a way that I've never seen on camera before. Like, he really sort of, he basically just said, I'm the man, I'm the legend in Scotland, and this is my playground kind of thing. He came in and basically said, you might think you're the champ and you're the king and whatever, but round here you're not, kind of thing. I am. And some of the bars, I mean, I've not got them all word for word, but like, he was just spitting some really hard, like, gutter stuff as well. He had something like, Tony, you're like 3 foot, so I'll have to bury you twice. He said something about, like, I'll stab you so deep that afterwards I'll thank you for concealing the weapon, or something like that. Oh my
god!
Oh, some of it, like, I'm saying it horribly, but like,
that's nice.
Way he structured it with the multis and stuff, it was so good. Like Bagnall, like, it's the screw faces from Bagnall. If you see some stink faces, like, it's the best ones I've ever seen. Like, it was crazy. Just really, really tough. He had this really weird pedo angle, which I don't think Tony D's a pedo.
No,
but, like, definitely not. But there's a debate over, if you kind of fabricate an angle, if you kind of stretch it, is it legit, kind of thing. But the bars he came out with from it was so good, so it's kind of hard to say, if that makes sense. He had it's something like, he said you'd swipe right on your baby monitor or something like that. Yeah,
that's original.
And he said something like, when you go to the school, you pick up everyone else's kid rather than your own,
right.
Something like that.
Okay.
And then he kind of went in on the sort of Brexit thing as well. Are you saying, I think this has probably been said before, but I think Respect did it quite well. He said something about, your white side wants to deport your black side. just all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I mean, Tony was really good as well. I mean, I'm finding it hard. He had a really good sort of Celtic Rangers bar. I'm trying to remember word for word. His third round was really, really good. But I don't know. I think I think his first round was good and Respects was even better. His second round just didn't really connect with me anyway. I don't think it was one of his best kind of thing. And Respect's second was one of the best rounds I've ever seen. So I feel like he was kind of 2-0 down by that point, which Respect sort of, said that's 2-0 me already kind of thing.
Right.
And, he was really cocky about it. And then Tony D's third was crazy good. Like it was one of the best rounds I've seen him spit. And it was, by the end of the night, you were kind of blown away and shook, like, oh yeah, Respect's got a rap again kind of thing. It was that good. And then Respects was good as well. But I don't think he got 3-0'd, but I do think Tony lost. And I think most people I spoke to agreed. I don't know if people will think the same on YouTube. Yeah. Maybe it's just the conviction that Respect BA brings in the room, but that's the impression I got, that most people seem to think Respect it right, which surprised me even. But maybe it shouldn't have, because he's an absolute legend and he's one of my favorite MCs. Like, he's probably the only guy there that like I think some people were legit starstruck by Respect. He was sort of at the back, and in Scotland he just commands such respect,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so good to hear that he showed out and gave what sounds like an absolutely incendiary performance. Can't wait to watch this back.
It was just the performance of the night, definitely.
And then I mean, what follows, someone was just, I mean, what a card. Going through this, it just sounds like every battle is going to be, great to watch. Even O'Shea Evil for all its crowd weirdness and stuff. But so Real Deal, John. I mean, what was this like?
Yeah, this was a great battle as well. I think I was absolutely exhausted by this point. So I think a few of the battles I was just like, sort of dosed up on codeine. I should probably say I've had tonsillitis really bad for like the last month or so. So it was probably a bad idea reacting loudly to bars and stuff. But yeah, I think this was really, really close. I'm not sure if I could call a winner. I'd need to probably watch it back. I think Soul started off quite jokey and sort of went in on Real Deal being in Dot Mob and saying. Sure. That, so when Soul does that sort of really light-hearted, he doesn't that really sort of delivery he does, where it's just sort of the one it's like unanimous delivery. He's like, oh wait, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, completely.
You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
That real sort of dismissive, like, why would they?
Yeah,
they ask you.
Yeah, his second against Sketch Menace is that sort of tone, definitely. That kind of disbelieving, like, I'm above you kind of snark. Like, he's very good at that.
Yeah, that's a great round actually. Against Sketch. Yeah, he did a little bit of that, and it went down well. I think Soul as well. It was interesting because I was chatting to Soul before the event. He was saying he was finding how weird he was finding it now, that like when he comes to events now, it was really weird. There's one dude went past him, like bowed at him, and there was another girl who was just like, she went to say something and then she sort of panicked and ran away, and he was like, what the hell, man? Like, he was really weirded out by it. He was just like, I think it's just because I don't think he's used to people being starstruck by him at an event and being sort of like blown away, but he had such this respect in the room that, like, once he's on stage, he's a performer, but like, when he's in the lead up to it, he's just like, he's not like O'Shea sort of chatting to everybody and having a laugh. Do you know what I mean? He's just but yeah. So I mean, so it's really weird watching his sort of when he went on stage. He just switches. You know what I mean? And and Real Deal's first round. I should probably point out he did have a surprise. He had a Train Spotting bar.
Wow. Yeah.
And there was some groans. I don't think people wanted to hear Train Spotting bars in Edinburgh in the week that it had come out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was so predictable, and I was like, nah. Apart from that, I think it was really some, compared to his Onkmios battle, where I think his stuff was quite accessible, it was some real quite some dense stuff in there, some word, like quite a lot of wordplay in particular. He had the odd sort of haymaker as well. He said, you can't play with Trevor. This is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Right.
like he said something to Soul. He said something like, obviously because Soul being champ, he said you'll get choked with your own belt like Robin Williams, which was a. I don't know if you got the reference to that, but that's
yeah, I have.
That's a pretty that was got a lot of reaction in the room. Soul actually, I think he came back with some quite. He did actually tailor to the crowd a little bit, which surprised me. He really went on some Scottish sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had a bar about golden time. I don't know if you know what golden time is.
I have no clue what that means. No.
Right, so it's like when we were in school, like primary school and shit, like we get if you behave in class, they would give you golden time.
Right.
Right, and so he had this whole thing. I think it was something to do. I'm going to take away your golden time, and not only did Real Deal not get it, but like and Danny Jack and all that are looking at him like what, and the whole room like erupts, like goes crazy. Like I've not seen such a reaction to a bar. You'll see it when it comes out. Like, people are so crazy for this bar, and it's just like what the hell. So, which I think one thing about Soul is he doesn't try and do the sort of really niche Scottish stuff that only we understand, because he's got that international appeal now. You know, like Ur said it himself. He said these two guys are two of the best in the world right now, in my opinion, and. So yeah, it was interesting to hear him do that. But yeah, he had some stuff that like he did come out with the, you know, it's Soul, man. Some of the bars are always crazy. It's like I can't remember the exact. He had a whole was it a trigonometry scheme or something like that. Like he tanned because sin ain't enough of an angle, something like that. I'll turn this poetry slam into a. That's another Scottish one actually. I'll turn this poetry slam into a 3rd degree Burns night.
Right. Okay.
You know, that's crazy as well. And then I think Real Deal, I would maybe edge it to Soul, actually, now I think about it, just because Real Deal second I wasn't digging as much, because he had this whole thing about his Soul's girlfriend. Right,
yeah, it's kind of been done, yeah.
I was just like, I'm not really... You know when they say it's a no blow, where you're kind of just having a go at someone who's not there, and you're not doing it that intelligently. Well, he was doing it quite intelligently because Real Deal, but like, do you know what I mean? Like the bars were good, but it didn't seem like it was coming back to really target him that well. I think it's been done better, kind of thing. There's a few good bars there as well. Like, you know, you've got a week left, like the plot of the ring, like just basically, you know, saying his time's up, and that Real Deal does just have this. Similar to Respect in a way, just because he's been doing it for ages, he's got this sort of authority to the way he raps, and he did feel like he was really sort of talking down to him at points, and basically saying, you know, he's talking. I've said that week left, but I should really say that I think that was a reference to his Punch on Caustic.
Oh, okay. Oh, week. Okay, that is good.
That's why it makes sense. I was reading that out off my notes there. I was like, why have I put that? Yeah, you've got a week left, like the plot of it. That's actually quite a good bar.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, he was basically just saying, you know, trying to sort of belittle him in that sort of way. I think, in the third round, I think Real Deal maybe took. I was totally zoning out at this point. I'll be really honest. I've been on my sort of on my feet for 9 hours. You know the way it gets me at the end of the night, sort of thing. Like everyone's sort of. I think the energy was sort of zapping from the room, and it just wasn't. It wasn't as many haymakers in that last round of the day. But it was another really good battle. I think Soul possibly edged it. I think the Scottish battlers all did really, really, really well. I think Evil's the only one who I think people might react quite badly to. But sure. It was a really, really good event.
Excellent. And I mean, from there, did you go on? Was there an after party, or were you, I guess after 9 hours, just a bit dead on your feet, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, as I said, I had to have a word to myself and realise I've not been well. So there was a tryout event today as well, which I've not heard back from just yet. It was actually my mate Ollie was putting that together actually, and so he was sort of asking us for ideas for names and stuff. It was interesting because I think Wee D was headlining, And on the card, I'm not sure it's made clear because Weedy's not a tryout. His Soul's first battle was against Weedy.
Yes, it was, yeah.
And he's battled
Mackenzie and everything, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's battled Pedro. He's battled loads of people. He's one of our really. He doesn't really battle down south, but he's a good battler. But he'll battle anybody, kind of thing. So he's battling a guy called Jails who's been battling for a while, like sort of in the Scottish scene, and he's quite hit and miss.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a tryout for him, sort of thing. So it's kind of a step down in that sense. Yeah, I mean, I've not seen these battles, but all I would say is if people want to do check out those sort of training days battles, I would expect Weedy's one to be good. I'd check that out. I think I'd recommend checking out a guy called Revo, a guy called Gmo as well. Actually, there's quite a few guys on there who I think might kill it. But there's a few battles off there that should be going up on training days as well. So so far as I understand, anyway.
Yeah. No, that's exciting, man. So thanks so much for popping by to give us the recap. How do people get at you and Scotland Stand Up as well?
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Rimmerjourno. I think I said that last time.
You did, but let's keep flagging it, man.
RIMMER, like Red Dwarf. And JOURNO as in journalist. And Scotland Stand Up, it's www.scotlandstandup.co.uk. Check out our blogs, podcasts, reviews, all that sort of shit. There's a link at the top as well for my other writing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. And sounds like an incredible event. I am now going to go off and read about Golden Time because I've literally never. Is that like standardised in every Scottish school, or? I
went to 3 schools actually because I moved about, and they all had Golden Time. So
interesting. Yeah, that's just you learn something new.
So that went off, man.
I love this Soul made a bar about it as well. That's brilliant. But John, until next time, man. This has been great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, peace. Cheers for chatting, man.